Alrighty, so I thought I'd put my prison green on and speak to the video camera like every other Australian prisoner, so that it's not lost in what I'm doing. Obviously, you can't get a jacket in prison. And so these things have maybe been getting in the way of the concept that I'm trying to explain to the Australian people. I guess this one's going to go to the Governor-General because she's hopping and jumping around hospitals again. And yes, a significant event like this in which 15 people are killed or 16 people are killed and 50 are injured is significant for a place like Sydney. It's not that significant, and if this was a war, those numbers would be a lot higher. And the hospital system that we currently have in this country is an after effect. It's left over from the war, from World War I and II. And so I'm hoping that they can handle a lot bigger numbers than this without getting a pat on the back. And in my case, it's actually that hospital system. Idle hands are the devil's playthings in the hospital system that has been used for this cruel, inhumane, I'd say punishment, but it's not punishment because I haven't done anything wrong at any point during this process. I did not use these tools to be subject to this type of thing. And that is what I'm clearly showing every single day, I hope, in my diary that is being published every single day and republished and reformatted to its inevitable conclusion of its inevitable final form, which there'll only be two results. There'll be the result where I'm dead and you'll be left with a diary, or there'll be the result where I'm alive and I've been completely exonerated for every single thing. And Australia has been exposed as the fucking Nazi, racist, fucking bullshit shithole that it has always been, that I didn't know it was because I was playing along with the band. All it took was a pretend fucking pandemic and a call to arms to people that didn't participate in the thing, and that was how it's done. And then it's amazing how that anti-vax fury and fucking the priming to be, ostracism tactics, which are unacceptable in any modern society, turned straight into Nazism, turned straight into anti-Semitism. And it's about time that Australia started listening to not just the fucking Israeli Jews or the fucking whatever Jews that have just rocked up here to fucking start ringing the bandwagon. I think it's really about fucking time that Australia starts listening to some Jews that didn't know they were fucking Jews, and then here's this actual fucking story about what was going on with those people for the last 2 years. How our own police system, our own judicial system was weaponized exactly as soon as that fucking October 7th attack happened. I was in prison a month after that. I called out the Premier for his dog whistle a month, prior to me going to prison. You want to pretend that there isn't fucking some anti-Semitism? Holy shit. What do you think these have done? The real problem is it's not being explained properly. And what's actually happened when you're seeing these very, very clearly Jewish people, and very clearly Islamic people having some kind of fucking battle on our beach, it's skewing the whole perception of it. So I don't look Jewish. In fact, when I got here, one of the people that was here, I remember and she said, "Oh, what, were you embarrassed to be Jewish?" It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Where did this come from? The only person I know as a child who ever had this thing against Jews was quite possibly the most antisocial, introverted, complete fucking video game loser that I've ever met. Now, I'm not saying there isn't other types of racism. Yeah, Australia's racist. But this anti-Semitism? No, that was a very selective fucking weird little subsect that used to stay down in the gutter where it belonged. And anytime it came up. So it's like it wasn't an issue. It was so much not an issue that I never, ever, ever even realised that it might be in my history. Until it gets wheeled out like this and used by, as far as I'm concerned, by a blow-in Prime Minister. Right? I'm not a Zionist except for the fact that I can agree that 100%. If the fucking Jews didn't have a fucking official homeland and a flag and all these things and a government and a president, all these things right now, well, they'd be doing a whole lot worse off than they are now when it's exposed that this is what it is. Because all of these things have been concurrent. They've all happened at the same time. They're not triggered off by events. It's just that we're being told, it's like we got told that there's a fucking hang glider invasion in Gaza, except at the exact same time, every single state in Australia activated their own little Nazi fucking version from a different perspective. It's been scripted. Clearly, you can see every fucking point of it. It's like, how did this all fucking unfold if it wasn't absolutely fucking planned? And like I said, this has been going for 10 years. Our hospital system was infiltrated by extreme Islamic fucking psychiatrists who have been fucking filtering out and fucking preparing the fucking ground like fucking, they've basically got their plow out, preparing the ground for this fucking Nazi invasion. And then all it takes is a new thing. This is the new communication paradigm, and it's completely rejected by the previous existing thing. Like, this is literally a torture fucking device for me. Because of the way that people that aren't using it are responding. Most notably, my children's mother and my own mother. Like, already, this is some fucked up shit. I am trying to usher my family through this fucking nightmare as an Australian. Quite possibly the first iteration of something that could actually almost be called a native Australian, a white native Australian. And this is the moment that this happens. My father was incredibly racist towards Aboriginals, and along with his entire generation of Australians. And the boomers aren't much better. I was raised as a fucking understanding person to have this dialogue, to police our own action and to find our own fucking voice. Yet we have a blow-in Prime Minister attempt to skew the entire fucking thing. There hasn't been a more understanding and a more egalitarian generation towards the Aboriginal people than mine. And then if you take those families from the longest families here, there's a pretty good consensus on that. This is our voice, and it is being stolen by a bunch of Middle Eastern fucking people that are coming here, whether they're Jews or whether they're fucking Muslims. I don't give a shit. One thing you should know about Australia is a lot of people leave a lot of their fucking religious fervour. They leave it up there. That's part of what's respecting this country as Aboriginal land. It's like they didn't have Muslims. They didn't have fucking Christians. Right, it's a gentle touch. It's somewhere in the middle. They didn't have hospitals with fucking the authority to fucking declare you as insane, or you're insane, have some pills. You're fucking this. Let's check our big book of fucking things that's wrong with people. That's a religion. Basic, like, what's the definition of a religion right now? Needs to be reclassified in our law. If you can look in a book and claim that someone else is lesser than because you've read something in a book, right? And there's an authority behind it, like the authority to remove someone's power, remove their property, remove the things, remove their children, all these fucking things. That's a religion, folks. When it's seen that two religions, the Catholics and the fucking Muslims, are implanted into that system and they're using it, well, that's even worse than a religion. That's fucking Nazi Germany. This is a problem. When people are shot on a beach, right? It's one thing to kind of celebrate the bloke who apparently fucking disarmed the thing and then and then I just found out probably got shot by the police. Isn't that exposing the fucking thing I said? It's like, how are you going to disarm somebody in an active, non-identified shooter situation? Then you've got the gun, then you're going to be a target. And look what happened. He got shot by the police. And it's the same thing. It's like, how are you going to expose a hospital system that is fucking, like, brutally issuing out these fucking religious fucking fervor, like, statements and claims? How are you going to do it? It's exactly the same scenario. The minute I go and try and pick up the thing and expose that the hospitals are doing this, they've already got that covered. They're like, he's crazy. He's crazy. You take the new environment into it. Oh, he's talking on the internet. He's crazy. That's literally the thing. Right, whatever you've got to do, whether you've got to put everyone through a polygraph test. I'll give you a spoiler alert. You go and ask my kid's mum or my mother on a polygraph test, is he crazy? Yes, he is. On the polygraph test to them. And you ask me, have I been imprisoned illegally for the last 3 years? I'll say yes, and it will come up as yes. So who are the people in between that have set this up? There's only one class, and they're not officially recognized by any religion. They've been utilized by religions to do this tactic. This is like fucking spraying Agent Orange on the fucking rainforest in Vietnam. It's exactly the same. The one difference is that I'm there saying 2 years ago, I'm constantly speaking about the Jewish issue when it wasn't widely known that there was some fucking extreme anti-Semitic fucking behavior going on. I had to sit there. I found this little Jewish book of my dad's and then went to speak to my mum and her carer / boyfriend, whatever it is, whichever authority he happens to be speaking to, who likes to, do archery with a fucking Nazi every fucking weekend. And piecing this all together was very strange. It's like, I've never experienced anything more strange in my entire life than this whole period. To just watch people turn from being all loving and caring. This was a girlfriend's mother that I had. To just watch it. I'm like, what? What's going on here? And it started again. It was first with the vaccines. And again, I wasn't even going to go against the vaccine. It was actually my girlfriend, their daughter, who really kind of persuaded. And then the reaction from her friends. I just kept seeing the same thing. People are declared. Then there's an ostracism and a rejection. And it's like it's gone fucking haywire. It's malfunctioning all over the place. And because it's all cowardice. Like this is the status quo of Australia right now, is cowardice. And that's how it's been governed. That's how the country is literally being managed. Already. It's like, do as this, or whatever. Like, there's no reality where a fucking prime minister walks into what is basically a gigantic fucking mourning thing for it's basically a funeral, and he's booed in and said there's blood on his hands, and that person isn't then killed. This is the problem. It's like there is stratification of the entire country because stories like mine are not being heard. It's being selected. It's been jumped straight to the front of the queue again. And you cannot sort out what's been happening and brewing and festering in a country for over 100 years by doing that. You can't have people that have just been brought here, which are only going to have the effect of bringing heightened anti-Semitism. You bring the most Jewish fucking people with a different accent to Australia and expect them to tell the story about what's happening with Australian anti-Semitism, and you're only going to fucking make that worse. No matter whether there's fucking 1 million people fucking dead or whether there's just 16. You're rearming the original disagreement. And it shows the stupidity of a concept like anti-Semitism. That's what should be shown. Not emboldening it. You show the stupidity of it. And the thing is, like, if we look at this as, imagine we're playing a game. The table is so tilted, it is completely lopsided towards Islam, towards extreme Islam, that it's not even funny. Every single term in our English language, which, again, English is not a Jewish language and it's not an Islamic language. So we have two fucking independent ethnic fucking groups having a war in our country and skewing the perceptions of Australia and fucking destroying our social cohesion of Australia. And then a political debate kind of happening on the top of it. But that's not what we need to do. We need to claim Australia firmly so that no one has any fucking hesitation. And I don't care if I need to kill Jews or I need to kill fucking Muslims. People are going to fucking understand this. You've already fucking shown your true colours. And it's an instantly recognizable cowardly strategy. We can't do this on our own, is what it fucking tells the Australian people. That's what our politicians have done. We can't do this on our own. We have to fucking pander towards the Islamists or we have to pander towards the Jews. And I say, fuck off. If anything, we're Christians. And we've done all right, yeah? We've done all right for ourselves. And even better in Australia, we're like, as my mum used to declare, that we're Bush Baptists or whatever it is. It was like, we're disconnected. The umbilical cord has been fucking well and truly severed. We're a fucking floating island in the southern hemisphere that has been occupied naturally by Aboriginal culture for 60,000 years. There's only one way that this fucking thing is going to go. We're going to find the commonalities between Christianity and the Aboriginal people. We don't need any fucking, you know what I mean? We don't need any pamphlets or brochures from people at war because we haven't been at war. This war was brought here. The same as the virus was brought here and the vaccine, which is that's a joint fucking attack on Australia. One supposedly natural, even though it turns out it's probably not natural, and one manufactured by a fucking industrial fucking medical cult, which is acting like the fucking hitmen for these two behemoth fucking monolithic fucking religions. It is impossible to diagnose or to treat any single person with a mental dysfunction if you have a large enough fucking, breakdown of communication between accents or different language barriers or cultural fucking misunderstandings. That's a recipe for disaster. Right, to constantly reference the medical system as one monolithic fucking beautiful fucking structure that only brings good is a massive mistake. It needs to be split up. If you're a mind doctor, a doctor of the mind, you should be fucking lined up against a wall with machine guns pointed at you, and you should be getting encouraged strongly to explain exactly what the fuck it is you're doing with every single fucking patient in your accent. in your fucking, oh, don't that shit, clearly this is the bipolar, why is that? Or she mentioned things like, that's their culture. Their culture is fairies. Their culture is fucking, this folk lore and all these things. We're Celtic fucking people. We're not desert fucking, we're not rubbing a fucking lamp. Why is there really no fucking Celtic fucking stories anymore? Why is it all Middle Eastern centric? How was I able to do all these things 2 years ago? To land here on this day? While those people are claiming that they haven't done that. There's no way. It's like, what? And this is the thing I was saying this morning to my girlfriend. I have to wait until the level of Nazism has come down enough in my native fucking country's judicial system to get an actual fair trial and to get a fair whatever. That's all of them. That's against the state government. That's against the media. That's against the Prime Minister. That's against the Governor General. It's like against the whatever, against the corporations that did this. That's not a functioning judicial system. The judicial system isn't meant to involve licking the finger to see how fucking anti-Semitic or fucking whatever we are before you go and do something. My hope is that I never have to go and do something, because that's a nightmare. That's just like sticking the brakes on. And I can't even imagine. I can't actually understand how a courtroom and a judicial system would actually handle the daily exposure of the crime in a new and fantastic way, day in, day out. So my only strategy would be let's make this trial as long as possible so that we watch every single fucking day of my evidence that I'm going to bring. And it's a no-brainer. It's like, I know the people that I'm declaring, it's like, they haven't committed crimes. They are following the fucking orders of the crimes of the country. Provably. They are following the herd of the country. Provably. And these aren't preparations made in the aftermath of a shooting or of a terrorist attack or anything like that. This was just the slow, monotonous fucking creation of a Nazi fucking country. Stolen from us all. And I think the things that we need to understand is there are two people using technology, the internet, at the moment. There are the traditional fucking computer nerds who do programming, and they're on forums, and they do all this type of fucking weird behind the scenes black hat fucking dark fucking algorithm bullshit. And there are people like me that are just talking into it, that have attempted to pioneer the new information, the new communication paradigm like this, which is really a completely different way to approach the internet. It's like, well, if you have enough confidence in the internet to put me in jail, why isn't that being reflected in what I'm doing daily? And the answer for that is because it is on demand. Our entire fucking legal system and judicial system is based on weaponizing the fucking system. You have to phone and press charges. You have to introduce accusations to the judicial system. And I said, it's like, why haven't I done that? Because I don't trust that our entire judicial system isn't fucking Nazi Germany. Now, that's a pretty big fucking accusation coming from 2 years ago, which is when I'm making it. 2 years ago, I'd been out of prison for a month by now, or a month and a half. And I'd already seen it all. I was telling the story of what was happening to my country 2 years ago. everything that's happened since then is just on top of it, because this entire projection, this entire fucking logbook is being dissociated from reality by the people that have victimized me, by the people that have attacked me, by the people that have stolen from me. And weirdly, in the most weirdest thing, by the people that are currently holding me. This is the strangest thing that has ever existed in my like whatever. It's like and it's so weird because this has happened. People have been in my position and a lot worse. They've been a lot worse off. What I can't understand is how this position is holding. Like, how many people could possibly, like, it would literally sit on one fucking hard drive, my entire life's contribution to these platforms. You know, it's not, these people aren't, you know, they're not idiots. They will have put it on hard drives and they will have sold that as an asset to hold that will tell this true story. It's like, and it is being like disallowed from reality, which is what I'm saying. That's what happened when you open the door to ostracism with the vaccine mandates and the unvaccinated. You open the gates of hell. But this is the first occasion in world history, really, where the gates of hell had a video camera and a fucking, like, a logbook, not just of writings, which would be, you know, look at the writings from previous eras in similar situations. This is even weirder. This is me presenting. This is me with such confidence presenting to this environment that I'm putting on characters and doing different things. A lot of that as well is to keep me fucking from going insane. And even that, it's like, what's it to do? It's to stop me from going insane. The only thing that has been used to prime the individuals to disregard what I'm saying in the first place was my mental state of that I was insane. And it's like, we're getting really fucking clear on this, aren't we? Because it's being exposed that these fucking systems, these diagnoses, they're nothing like what they're saying they are. They were a very blunt, dull fucking tool that was used to control disruptive people. But I'm not being disruptive. I'm defending the core fucking principles, the core beliefs, and the core normal, you know, sustainable social organizational things that have led to stability. And it's like, based on this, like, look at the chaos that surrounds us. And it's not just like, oh yeah, well, of course this would lead to chaos. It's like, this was designed to do exactly this and to leave us in chaos. More than likely with in their aspirations of the people that came up with this devious scam to completely destroy any hopes that we would have to defend ourselves as a sovereign nation. And it's funny, a lot of the times when I do reference, like, there's a reference in my diary today where I'm saying about being a Nazi, and I'm like, don't wake us up. It's a lot of work. Once the killing starts, it's a lot of work. It's like, I'm sitting in between the Jews and the Nazis. I'm like, this is what's going on. Because this is new. This is a different thing. But don't for a second think that if I can't sit between the Jews and the Nazis, that there isn't an opposing side sitting between the Islamists and the Jews and the fucking Catholics. So you've got to remember that Germany was part of the Reformation. Is actually where it started. So Nazi Germany, that's kind of, you know, that's their fucking declaration of their own Reformation, very much like Henry VIII. And when you get down to like the atrocities, all the things, like it's a different time. The problem really was that it was mechanized, but that was the only time it could have been mechanized. It was the only time the tools landed in the right spot at the right time with the right ideology, or the wrong, ideology to cause all this hell. But if they had have won, there's no doubt that Hitler would have been the equivalent to fucking Henry VIII. In the German thing, it's like if you take World War One and the Kaiser and all that, it's like that he would have been that. And they would have marched on fucking Rome eventually. They'd already destroyed it. The problem was that they turned the religion into fucking him, but that's what we did. If we're the Church of England, it's like that's what we did. I think the amazing thing is that during that time that that they didn't join forces. And then we're right back to the beginning of like what happened to do with the Germans and the English. And that's Churchill, but it's like, it seems like it is the Jews are the only thing that stopped that. And that seems to be their role. The Jewish role in the world seems to be to prevent these fucking ungodly fucking empires from fucking raining down hell. And so the whole ideology of Nazism or of anti-Semitism, or like what our current Albanese fucking anti-Semitism is like the only thing in their mind standing between them and complete world domination is the Jews. It's not that the Jews are, controlling the world. It's that they're the only thing that stands in the way of them fucking doing that. So they have to be identified as enemies, and they have to be like ostracized, and they have to all these things. But they're just very used to playing that game. They've been doing that for a long time. And then the people are just so fucking, they're just, there's no falling down to this. This is the pinnacle. Communication, adequate communication, bringing down every detail, able to tirelessly just work on every single little thing. This is how our law works. I'm participating in our law right now, legal public testimony, to try and get us to the understanding where every single person who has already weaponized our legal system against me is exposed to have fallen into the trap and under the spell of this pseudo fucking Nazi fucking attempted revolution on our country. This a coup. This communist, socialist. And it's so weird because it's like the socialism exists in all the new things and none of the old things. That's how you can tell this isn't communism. Communism went for like things like the basics that we need and the farmers, like we needed to make product. It doesn't work there, right? But it's way more likely to have worked there than it is to have worked in this new like top segment of just recently created professions, with a huge portion of those professions being exposed now as absolutely not just like not real, but like active parts of a control system that just inevitably leads to communism, to socialism. All the jobs that these people have are the jobs to bring this coup success. They are militants. They're either saboteurs, or they're guards, or police, or enforcers. That's what all the positions are. No one's concerned about, the thousands and thousands and thousands of hectares of degraded fucking land, because this is a new type of communist ideology. It's like, we learned it doesn't work, so let's just not worry about it. Let's win the fucking thing first. Let's get the fucking win on the board, and then we'll worry about all the things that are important later on. And that's why this is weird. Because none of the people that are claiming to be governing and to be, managing our country, they're all being exposed within a profession that is completely fucking useless and complete fairy tales. It's complete make-believe, the majority of it, because it's being exposed. It's like this is 40 years of invasion. Which, like that is a cult, but there's nothing for the cult to fucking go on. And this is what I say. It's like it's a standalone socialist communist cult, but it's helped on by the two monolithic religions of Islam and fucking Catholicism. And that's just a battle. It's like, I'm not going to have that, because they're in their minds, they're both doing it. They're like, yeah, as long as we clear all the ground of all the chaos, we will fucking, we'll reunify the world just under these two opposing Abrahamic religions, which gives us 50-50 each. If people are lulled into this conformist thing and they get away from all this reformative religious doctrine, then we can just continue to do this, and we're left with this paradigm. But I refuse to let it land in fucking Christianity to land back in Catholicism. It's like, no. And even the fervor that you have towards doing these things is based on a continuation of the Reformation. So you're way out in the fucking weeds. You're deep in fucking pagan land, trying to fucking, and it's just like, at that point, if you're doing this witch doctor fucking mind control, you're doing like atheistic, scientific, technological fucking entrapment and control systems, you're disconnected from the basics of humankind by concentrating only on the newly created fictitious professions that aren't the basis of our historic human existence. So it's like you're just kind of fucking whole, and it comes down to some like half Jew, half Protestant, half, I don't know, atheist fucking person just talking to expose it all. Because I'm not really concerned about the religious, I'm concerned about the management of the country. The country is being mismanaged because it's not being managed, it's being invaded. This is like everyone loves to claim, it's like, well, if Hitler had stopped killing the Jews, he might have won. Yeah. Yes. If Hitler had gone 5 generations, we'd have the Hitler fucking thing. They'd still be there. But they're all methed up and fucking needed to do it right now. And that's what, it's impatience is what draws the fucking Jews into the fight. Because the Jews are very patient. It's this impetuous fucking, like, this bulldozer strategy, which is also what has left this country in fucking ruins, was our agricultural attempt to do this. And again, it's what brings the Jews into the fight. All the answers are in appropriately telling the story that's going on. And that's what I'm going to continue to do every day. In my mind, it's already there. Right? So you're already now you've already been completely exposed. There is more evidence just singly from my thing. And then if you contribute my mind to the thousands, hundreds of thousands of other people doing similar things, and once the wind changes, you're already done. And so every day past this day, you are just digging yourself deeper. There is no world where I'm fucking integrating into anything until this appropriate story is being told. There is no I'm not assimilating with a fucking bunch of Nazis. Right? I'm holding hard and fast the true telling of Australian history and the true telling of Australian culture in my example, and I will die to defend that for you all. So you're all coming back to where I am. Yeah? There's no fucking continuation on. I don't care how many fucking water bottles you've got in your fucking back of your fucking car and you're going on holidays and shit like this. No. You need to understand where you are. Every single one of you. And where you are in the telling of what I'm telling you've all just done. And the real problem is it's like it wants to be Jewish. It's like no one in the fucking world is going to fucking think that I'm a Jew when this is done. This didn't start with me being a Jew. This started with me being a father and a business owner and all these fucking things as an Australian. Coming from one of the oldest white Australian families here, on both sides. I think it's about time that we start fucking reanalyzing who deserves a fucking passport down here and who doesn't. En masse. Because there are fucking millions and millions of hardworking, dedicated people that aren't concerned with all these power fucking systems, that do just want, a nice little spot to set up their family, and they don't want all these luxurious things and cars and all. They don't want this stuff. And we are incredibly hindered by the types of people that we have brought here from all nations, most specifically the mother nation from where my family came from, and from its next door neighbour in Ireland. Basically, there is a job that needs to be done here, and the people that have been brought here are the most fucking entitled, least prepared, least experienced people, and they are literally fucking the whole thing up. And so there will be no assimilation towards whatever the fuck recent fucking phenomenon of the UK, whatever that is, has been brought here. There is only one way that this is going. The fucking horse is leading the cart, not the other way around. Anyway, I wish you all the best, and I'll see you all tomorrow. I've got 1% left.